On April 26, 1986, a safety test at a power plant near the town of Chernobyl escalated into the worst nuclear accident in history. An explosion at the V.I. Lenin nuclear power plant transformed the quiet city of Chernobyl in Ukraine into the epicenter of a global disaster. Emitting 500 times more radiation than the atomic bomb dropped at Hiroshima, the explosion had profound environmental and health effects on the surrounding region that persist to this day. Chernobyl has a story to tell. The Chernobyl accident is the most serious accident in the history of the nuclear industry. Indeed, the explosions that ruptured one of the reactors of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, and the consequent fire that started on 26 April 1986, and continued for 10 days that resulted in an unprecedented release of radioactive materials into the environment. The Chernobyl nuclear facility is located in Ukraine about 20 kilometers south of the border with Belarus. At the time of the accident, the plant had 4 working reactors. The accident occurred in the early morning when operators were running a test on an electric control system of Unit 4. The accident happened because of a combination of basic engineering deficiencies in the reactor and faulty actions of the operators. The safety systems had been switched off, and improper, unstable operation of the reactor allowed an uncontrollable power surge to occur, resulting in successive steam explosions that severely damaged the reactor building and completely destroyed the reactor. The explosions started numerous fires on the roofs of the reactor building and the machine hall, which were extinguished by firefighters after a few hours. Approximately 20 hours after the explosions, a large fire started as the material in the reactor set fire to combustible gases. The large fire burned for 10 days. Helicopters repeatedly dumped neutron-absorbing compounds and fire control materials into the crater. Later, the reactor structure was cooled with liquid nitrogen using pipelines originating from another reactor unit. An estimated 350,000 emergency and recovery operation workers, including Army, power plant staff, local police, and fire services, were initially involved in containing and cleaning up the accident. Later, the number of registered liquidators rose to 600,000, although only a small fraction of these were exposed to high levels of radiation. At the time of the accident, radiation from the damaged reactor number 4 was dispersed in the atmosphere. The rest of the world was unaware of the accident until radiation alarms went off at Sweden's second-largest nuclear power plant. The International Atomic Energy Agency states that around 150,000 square kilometers in Belarus, Russia and Ukraine are contaminated. The true death toll of the Chernobyl disaster is difficult to judge because of the long-lasting health effects of radioactive pollution. The official death toll directly attributed to Chernobyl that is recognized by the international community is just 31 people, with the UN saying it could be 50. Over the years, some 350,000 people have been relocated due to the Chernobyl accident, according to the World Nuclear Association. The exclusion zone, which is essentially uninhabited, originally extended 30 kilometers, encompassing around 2,800 square kilometers, from the site of the decommissioned nuclear power plant. Later it was modified, now covering roughly 4,300 square kilometers. Is Chernobyl nuclear still active? Reactors 1 and 3 continued to operate after the disaster. Reactor 2 was permanently shut down in 1991 after a fire broke out due to a faulty switch in a turbine. Reactors number 1 and 3 were to be eventually closed due to a 1995 agreement Ukraine made with the EU. Even after many years of scientific research and government investigation, there are still many unanswered questions about the Chernobyl accident, especially regarding the long-term health impacts that the massive radiation leak will have on those who were exposed. The area has recovered to some extent, but is far from returning to normal. But in the areas just outside the exclusion zone, people are beginning to resettle. Tourists continue to visit the site. Chernobyl resulted in a few significant changes for the nuclear industry. Concern about reactor safety increased around the world. The remaining reactors were modified to reduce the risk of another disaster. And around the globe, experts have continued researching ways to prevent future nuclear disasters.